Hey guys, so hope everybody's doing good. Today's video I want to talk about finding a good medium or a good psychic, and I want to talk about the signs that are no-nos, the signs where you know the reading is not going good or the psychic is just trying to get money. So let's get into it. So basically, getting a good quality reading means that you go to somebody and you, first of all, it starts with you, the sitter. You have to feel the energy from the reader. Don't go get a reading if you just want a reading so bad that you have a feeling that you don't feel comfortable, or it feels weird, or it feels sketchy. Go with that feeling, because most of the time that's the truth, because a lot of readers and psychics or mediums, whatever you go to, they do unfortunately just want the money, and they're not real, or they're just playing with your mind, or they just tell you what you want to hear. So always go with that gut feeling of, okay, this doesn't feel right, okay, I shouldn't spend my money, because at the end of the day it's your money and you don't want to waste your money on something that you already knew or something that's not true. And another sign is if you go to a reader and they ask you questions, that's a big no-no. As a psychic, as a medium, you do not ask questions. The only questions that they should ever ask you is your name, or some people ask you your birthday. Like me personally, I don't need to know your birthday. I really don't need to know your name. But I mean, just out of courtesy, you know, when you meet somebody, you ask them their name, whatever, you tell them your name. So that's that. You don't ask questions. You don't say, oh, you know, what's going on with you in your life, stuff like that. They should already know that if they're a good reader. And also another thing is when you go to a reader and you start telling them things and they carry on with the reading and they feed off of what you're saying, stop the reading right there, because they're just feeding off of what you're saying, and that's not good. Also, another thing is that when you go to a reader and they say, oh, well, I feel like your chakras are clouded, or I feel like you have a dark energy over you, and if you pay me extra, I can get that, you know, get that taken care of, or I can clear that for you. No. You should never pay for extra services, especially if they're like $300, $500, $600. That's insane. Also, if a medium or a psychic tells you, well, I can meditate for you, but it's going to cost extra. Absolutely not. Number one, no one can meditate for you but you, because meditation is a personal thing. Somebody could, you know, get information about you in their meditation, but nobody can say, well, I'm gonna charge. There's no such thing as services for someone meditating for you. I just don't even understand what that means. That's just not even something that makes sense to me as a medium, as a psychic. That's just insane. That's just for money. So never pay extra for stuff like that, because you can meditate for yourself for free, and you're gonna get way more out of it than somebody doing that, which I don't understand how somebody would even offer that service, but that's what's going on. I heard that a lot. Also, if somebody just is constantly looking at your body language, looking at you, it's called a cold reading. Always be aware for those, because cold reading is sometimes undetectable, especially if you don't know about readings in the psychic world or mediumship or anything like that. Cold readings are very common. It's a very lazy way of giving a reading, and I hate even knowing that people do that to people for their money, because I feel like when people come to me or anybody else for a reading, I've been a sitter, I've been on the other side, and I know that when I'm looking for a reader, I'm looking for somebody who is genuine, who really takes their work serious, who really puts their mind and soul into giving a quality reading, and somebody who is, you know, gonna tell you the truth even if it hurts, and not just gonna sugarcoat things or make up anything. So that's another thing. Watch out for cold readers. I'm sure there's videos on YouTube or there's books about people giving cold readings, because a lot of times people do that because they just want quick money and they don't want to take the time, or they really just don't know how to read and they just use psychic as, you know, the word because it draws people in and they make money off of it. So look for stuff like that. Also, fortune telling. Now, this is my opinion. You know, some people might have a problem with me saying this, but predictions. Now, I do not do predictions. I refuse to do predictions. The only predicting I would ever think of doing is if somebody came to me and said, okay, well, what do you think about a job? Or what do you think about my love life? Okay, well, I can say, like, now I do feel, you know, maybe there's a job coming up or something like that, or you're gonna meet somebody soon, or it's going to be a long way down the road. Usually I'll get a vision and I'll see if I feel like somebody's going to meet somebody in there a long way down the road. I'll see a long road, or I'll see a tunnel that goes very long, and that's my sign for it's going to be down the road. Or I'll see like this, and that's quick for me. Like, that's my sign of it's gonna happen very quick. But I mean, when somebody says, okay, it's gonna happen September 12th, 2016 at 3 o'clock, you're gonna be wearing this. Now, that's insane. How is that? You can't predict that, because guess what? Things change, and everybody has free will. So we have the ability to change. Everybody has this ability to change things up. So when somebody tells you something so specific like that for a future reading, that's crazy to me, because that cannot be accurate. Now, don't get me wrong, maybe there are people who could be on point, but 99% of the time that's not true. Like, that's just not, that's not fair. That's not fair to the sitter. And that's because, honestly, if you tell somebody that, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be waiting for September 12th, 2016, that date to come around. And they're going to be expecting, you know, someone to fall in love with or whatever. They're going to be expecting that. So when somebody tells you something like that, like, do not take that to heart. Don't ever count on it. Don't ever, you know, plan your life around anything like that, because that's just a little crazy to me. I don't believe in prediction readings. I believe in life path readings, and that's what I offer, which is very different. If somebody says, can you tell me this when this exactly, I just can't do that. I can give you like a distance, you know, like, okay, whatever, but I cannot just tell you the exact time and date. It's just not fair. And there's not enough money, me personally, like, that would make me lie. Like, that's just, I could never do that. That would be on my heart. Like, I have a conscience, and I would like think about that at night. It would drive me nuts. But anyways, that's just me. Unfortunately, a lot of psychics don't care, and they just want the money. So that's another thing to look out for. Also, if somebody is charging $500, do not waste your money. There is no reason for someone to charge that much money. Anything over $200, and that's like pushing it. Like, that's like the max. Like, even to me, I would feel like not right charging that. If somebody is charging that much money, then that's insane. That means that they're probably not doing it for the goodness of you or because they love what they do. It seems like they'd be doing that, you know, just for money. So I think that charging anything over that is just like kind of crazy, because number one, especially if somebody is getting a 30-minute reading or an hour reading, I mean, that's just really crazy. Also, another thing, if you go into, like, you know how they have stores or shops or whatever, and like, this has happened to me before, and so I'm just gonna share this experience. I've gotten a reading with someone, and I'm thinking, okay, you know, this is great. I paid $150 for it, and I'm crying, and we're talking, and then I see these lights blink. And so I'm like, well, why are these lights blinking? And so then the reader, she's like, oh, well, I think that's gonna be it, and I think the reading's gonna come to an end. So for me, that kind of pissed me off, because I'm like, so you're literally counting the minutes, and even if you had more, you couldn't give me more unless I paid you more, and that's just not fair. Like, look out for signs like that. Also, look out for signs, general information. If somebody comes in and says, if you come in and maybe your eyes are tired or something, and they're like, oh, you've been very tired lately, or if you come in and you are, say you're Spanish, or say you're, you know, Middle Eastern, and they're like, oh, well, culture means a lot to you, or just something specific like that. Okay, come on, we know this. Like, that's general. Or, you know, I've seen racial profiling on readings. I've seen, like, I heard this one story on this one YouTube video, and this girl, she was kind of chubby. She wasn't too big, but the psychic told her, you're not going to find love unless you lose weight. That is absolutely insane. That's not true. Like, anybody can find love at any size, whatever you look like. But she was judging her. She was basically, because in her opinion, she didn't feel that she was the right size. So she told her, from her personal opinion, oh, well, you're not going to find love until you lose weight. You cannot judge a sitter by anything like that. If somebody makes you feel uncomfortable, you need to get up and leave, because that's not what we're here for. We're here to help people. We're here to lighten up situations. We're here to bring people happiness and to make people feel good. It's not about making people feel sad. And yeah, we get people who cry, but they're good cries. If you ask anybody who I've ever read for, or if you ask any good medium or psychic and their client is crying, it's not because they're sad or they're disappointed. It's because you brought them joy and you helped them figure something out, or you brought a loved one through something like that. So nobody's supposed to walk out of there with tears of sadness. Like, I mean, sadness in a good way, but not sadness in a way where, oh my God, that made me feel even worse than I felt before. So that's another sign. Also, another thing is if you're getting a mediumship reading and somebody's like, do you have do you have a dog? Or did you have a dog? Or did you have a grandfather? Well, duh, everybody had a grandfather. They're supposed to give you specifics. Like, if a grandfather is coming through for me, I'd say, I feel a grandfather figure coming through. I'm pretty sure this is a grandfather or somebody that you looked up to as a grandfather, but it is an older person and they are saying this and they're showing me this. That's being an evidential medium, which I am. And that's a good quality reading. Like, anybody can say anything. Like, a lot of people want to tell you what you want to hear, but don't fall for that. Always go with your feeling. And honestly, if you're not getting the right information, don't be afraid to tell the reader that. Always have a voice. Don't feel bad, like, or feel embarrassed for them, because at the end of the day, you're there spending your money and you're going to them for help, and that's their job. They're supposed to help you and they're supposed to give you what you need. So don't ever feel bad to speak up or say what you feel, because it's not about them, it's about you. And another thing is that if somebody keeps pressuring you, like, to talk about something that you don't want to talk about, please leave. Like, you should not continue to go on with the reading, because you're not supposed to pressure a client. You're not supposed to make somebody feel like we have to talk about this specific thing. If you don't feel comfortable talking about it, you don't have to talk about it. Like, the reading should be in your hands and up to spirit. So at the end of the day, when you pick your reader, pick them wisely, research them, check out their price, you know, go with the gut feeling that you get. Don't go because you're excited and you want a reading. And number one, never base your life on a reading. Do not make decisions, like life-changing decisions, that you're not sure of just because a reader told you. We can always give you information. We can always guide you. We're here to help you. But at the end of the day, it's your decision and it's your choice. Never just throw everything away because you got a reading and the psychic said this and the psychic said that. I mean, yes, take in consideration what we say, but at the end of the day, it's your life and it's your decision. So you have to be the one to make that decision in your life. And just be careful on who you trust and who you go to. And so I just wanted to make this video to give you guys some signs and some tips on how to choose a good reader, whether it's a psychic or whether it's a medium. And also, another thing, all psychics are not mediums, but all mediums are psychics. Remember that. If you go to a psychic and she says, I'm not a medium, then know that you're not going to get a mediumship reading. You're going to get a psychic reading. But all mediums are psychics. But some mediums don't like to tap into psychic readings. You just really have to research and figure out, know what you're doing and know what you're putting your money on. So I just wanted to come by and tell you guys about that real quick and let you know the do's and the don'ts. And if anybody has any questions, let me know. Comment and subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And I hope everybody has a blessed day. Thank you guys.